What's up, everybody? Welcome to Art of Opening. Today we're going to talk about surrender and release and how important this is. If you have chronic pain, if you have chronic stiffness, if you have hip issues or back issues, chronic tension, or if you have nervous system disorders, nervous system stuff, we're just going to get into how important this is, and I'm going to share a bit of my experience to highlight some stuff. I have a class series coming up. Once a week, classes once a week for 8 weeks, and it's called Breathe and Release. And so this video is just talking about like how crucial this stuff is to find in your body for you. So for me, I sort of found this on my own, and I actually think a lot of people end up finding it on their own. And what it is it's a feeling of surrender in your body. It's a feeling of release, of releasing control. Now, I want to say something very important. People who experience chronic pain or have nervous system stuff, honestly, most people in like the modern world have some sort of nervous system something going on. And what this is this is control. So when we have this stuff happening inside of us, it's unconscious control. It's not that we are doing it on purpose. It's just more of what we've learned. And we've learned this in our minds. We've learned to be very contractive and controlling in our minds. And this has led to being very contracted and controlling in the body. And this is what tension is. So if you've watched any of my content, you know that tension is nasty, but tension is the main thing that we're working with. And so this is sort of the root, right? Is this control, this fear, and this protection. Now, this is where surrender comes in and release. So if you know that this is part of the problem, that there's this controlling nature inside, this something that is not okay, and because it's not okay, it needs to control everything or many things. And that control comes also into holding in the body. Just a little side note here. Something that you can notice in people is, let's say you're riding in the car and you're taking some turns and you have a passenger with you, or you're watching your friend next to you. Like, are they gripping? Are they holding on, right? Because there's different ways to handle a circumstance like this. And you could be gripping and holding, or you could just be more relaxed and going with the motions and trusting your driver, right? So this is just an example of how this plays out in the world. This plays out in thousands of millions of ways in an individual. But there's this controlling nature, and it bleeds out into everything. So learning release, learning surrender, we have to figure out how to find the sensation of surrender in our body. Now, this is not a concept. This is not an idea. It is a concept and idea, but in order for it to work, you have to feel it. So, yes, surrender. Okay, cool. I surrender. No, it's not a thought. It's not an idea. It's, can you feel? Can you feel inside? And can you actually create a sensation of surrender, of letting go? And surrender, when you think of the word surrender, well, I'm sure everyone thinks of something different. But when I think of the word surrender, I think of like, just like, just like I give up. Like there's nothing I can do, right? I think some people think of surrender as weak, the giving up, like I give up. Oh, you're so weak. No, it's a giving in. It's an allowing. If you watch water run, just watch a creek, watch a river, any little bit of water. This is what water is doing, is it's just always going down. And that's the sensation of surrender, is always going down, always releasing. And what you're going to notice if you do this practice of noticing tension, I'm making a bunch of videos right now about this. If you notice tension in your body, what is tension doing? Well, tension is either squeezing or it's raising. That's why a lot of people have neck stuff, because it's like constantly like this, right? Or maybe even just a little bit, but it's happening. Now, what is that? In or up is the opposite of surrender and releasing down. Okay? So get a really good idea for what surrender really is. It's not weak. It's just, okay. Like I give up all control. I give up all need to do anything or be anything. All of that can go out the door when we practice surrender and release. So can you feel like, what does that feel like? You're just sitting here listening to me. Consider and feel in your body, like, what does that feel like? To just, all cares, all worries, all needs, gone, right? Or just for the moment, just letting go. It's like a funny, like, I'm making these like funny mannerisms, but like that's what it feels like, right? So you have to figure out for yourself. No one can necessarily, unless you have a really, really good teacher, not many people are going to be like, hey, just do exactly this and that's going to be it, or just feel exactly this. This is something that you have to find. You have to just like, how do I feel that sensation of like full on letting go? And the reason this is so hard is because we don't want to let go. So our mind, like we talked about earlier, the need to control, it's doing it for a reason. It's doing it because we're afraid. What's going to happen if we let go? Right? There's a reason we've built up all of this stuff, but it's not serving us. It's not serving us at all. So like we have to recognize that, and we have to, like, this is not going to be easy. We are going to have a lot of resistance because of that fear that's in place. There's going to be a lot of resistance. There's going to be a lot of resistance to it happening, and also resistance to even listening to me talk about this. Like I've talked to people and they're just like, no, you're stupid. But like, that's their resistance to letting go. That's their, like, they are so bound up that there's nothing inside of them that's okay with releasing. And that's okay. Like, some people are not going to get it. Some people are going to be like that. That's totally fine. But like, it's just kind of a reality. It's just kind of a truth we're working with, that like, why would I need to hold tension if there's not a lion in front of me, if there's no one pointing a gun at me, if no one's wanting to fight me? Then what's the need for the tension? Because that's what tension's for, right? But if you're just sitting here on a beautiful spring day, like, you don't need to be holding any of that. So that's the gist of the video. Look, I want to shout out again, I have this class series called Breathe and Release. We're going to get really deep into this stuff. I have other videos that are being released around this time that are all about teaching how to release, stuff that's going to be in the class, but the class is going to go pretty deep, week by week, just building and building more tools, more relaxation, and just trying to find this releasing sensation as much as we can. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for checking it out. The link is in the description for that class. Leave a comment, leave a like, do something for this algorithm thing to be like, hey, I like this guy. But if you don't like this guy, then whatever, it's all up to you. All right. Thank you very much for joining. Have a beautiful day.